Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Just like usual, we've got a bunch of topics to go through, so let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with Chelsea were leading the race to sign £38 million player, but now Liverpool really want him. And as you can see mentioned here, it's Matheus Nunes, Portuguese midfielder. It said, according to CM Journal, the Reds have made the Portugal international their priority next signing, adding to the acquisitions of Nunes and Fabio Carvalho. 23-year-old, as you can see him pictured here. Bit of a midfield sort of destroyer type is the vibe that I got from him, and obviously that's a player that Chelsea could use. We saw that there was a bid submitted, I believe it's like a verbal bid that we'd submitted a few weeks ago or a week or so ago, and apparently it was around this fee, so Chelsea maybe were a little low, but Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool are now set to go ahead and sort of take over from where Chelsea were. It says they're set to up the interest in the transfer. 38 million has been encouraged, a deal for about 38 million has encouraged the club to begin negotiations. So, you know, they've maybe verbally agreed on a certain figure, and now Liverpool are going to go in to Sporting Lisbon and see if they can sign him. Bad news for Chelsea, because I thought this guy actually looked really good. I thought he looked like a solid little midfielder that Chelsea could use him for. You know, 38 million, it's not a crazy high price. Especially given, you know, our midfield is quite old at this point. Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho, they are aging. You know, you can supplement it with Conor Gallagher, Ethan Ampadu can play in the midfield, Billy Gilmore, but he'll probably be out on loan. Mason Mount in there. So, you know, there's options, but I do think he would have been a good option. But by the looks of it, Liverpool are set to sort of overtake Chelsea. That's not good news, but it seems we've turned our attentions elsewhere anyway. Then next up, a surprising one for me, Chelsea are now expected to make move for £40 million winger, Premier League club just waiting for their bid. And as you can see, Chelsea are expected to make a bid for Newcastle's Allan Saint-Maximin. It said Eddie Hazard are now awaiting an approach from Chelsea, with Tuchel's men one of the most interested sides in a move. Allan Saint-Maximin, this is really not a player I thought Chelsea were going to go for this year. Taking a look at some of his stats, 25 years old, right-footed, 35 million roughly he's valued at. You can see he really plays anywhere in the attack, and even further back if you want him on the side of the midfield. Ball control, playmaking are his strengths, but the problem lies here for me. 35 starts last year, 5 goals, 5 assists. Like, tell me someone like Timo isn't going to put up those kind of numbers anyway. Pulisic's going to put up those kind of numbers. Ziyech will put up those sorts of numbers, right? Like, I just don't see how this is an improvement on what Chelsea currently have. None of the stats are particularly impressive. You know, we know he's got that crazy good dribbling ability, but there is next to no finishing ability, and Newcastle fans are quite rightfully very frustrated with him at times. So, you know, a player that, looking at this as well, can be injury prone. Average rating for the year 6.91. Can really sort of go through periods of injury after injury. Maybe, you know, long term that's not such a big issue, but I just don't know. For me, this one is one Chelsea should avoid, but apparently we're expected to go in for it. You know, we've clearly shown some interest. If Eddie Hazard are expecting the bid, we maybe been in contact with agents and things like that. And the £40 million winger, if we pay something like that for him, I think we're crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll shine in a blue shirt. But for me, this one is insane. So personally hoping this one doesn't follow through, but we'll see how it goes. So just to sort of close off on all of the Jules Koundé stuff, Barcelona feel Chelsea's proposal for Jules Koundé is too important to be matched. 55 million to Sevilla with very good payment terms, about 9 to 10 million salary in euros that is, on a 5-year contract. Chelsea contracts ready in Sevilla's hands since yesterday, deal at the final stages. Like I said, it's just those final little details before it gets wrapped, and then he's a Chelsea player. You can see here as well, Matt Law reporting, Jules Koundé set to join Chelsea, he says, in a deal that could give Azpilicueta the green light to go. So, Koundé, like I said, it is wrapped, it's happening, and that could be a sign that Azpi goes, because obviously Koundé can play on that right-hand side, could play wing-back possibly, but that probably is a sign that, you know, he's the replacement for Azpi. Azpi can go. I've heard a few rumours that, you know, Barcelona are also wanting Alonso, that Alonso actually isn't going to end up going the other way, so not too sure what's happening with that one, but we'll wait and see. I'll keep you guys up to date, of course. The good news, Koundé is set to join Chelsea. That's massive. Next up, we have a reporter from Sky saying Thomas Tuchel is not the biggest fan of Timo Werner. The player could depart this summer, however, a final decision will take time. Tendency, he will leave. So at the moment, it's looking like Timo Werner is going to leave Chelsea. It's just whether we can find someone willing to pay roughly what Chelsea are going to want for him. And of course, the wages are going to be the bigger issue here because he's on a good contract at Chelsea. He has no push to leave unless he really does want to, you know, go somewhere to sort of prove himself, like he probably should. Could depart, you know, a final decision will take time, so I guess it's not one that we're going to see any in the next few weeks. There's just some rumblings going on saying that Timo Werner, his time at Chelsea might be up, and whilst it's a shame because as a person I love Timo, he's funny, seems like a great squad member, really puts a lot of work in, but the end product just isn't there. Maybe with another year in the Premier League he'd start to adapt, but I just do think, like when he came in, he was like, it's difficult, everyone's, you know, 6'3" and absolutely rapid, and they don't give you time on the ball, they just close you down and take you out completely. I just don't think he's suited to this kind of league. Maybe I'm wrong, hopefully he proves me wrong if he stays, but by the sounds of it, that's not going to happen. He's going to leave, so an unfortunate one. If he does go, I wish him all the best because I really do love what I've seen from Timo. Always put a shift in, a bit frustrating at times, don't get me wrong, but we can move on to bigger and better things, but hopefully not Allan Saint-Maximin, because I think Timo will put up 5 goals, 5 assists, so whatever, that's a different story. We'll keep you up to date with that. Fabrizio Romano then with an update on West Ham's striker signings, looking at Scamacca and Kostic, but the big part here, bid still on the table for Armando Broja, but Chelsea have not accepted as of now, still in standby, so they're working on these other ones, I guess, in case they don't get Broja. By the sounds of it, he is their top target, so Chelsea are gonna have to, at some point Broja is gonna push this to either happen or not happen, right? And I think by the sounds of it, he's pushing for it to happen. Like I've said, like it seems Tuchel wants, he should stay, he should be in the front line at Chelsea, and still in standby. You know, I guess Chelsea are waiting to see maybe if the offer goes up a little bit, or if they can convince Broja to stay here and perform for the next year. Who knows, but I definitely think Broja should be staying, so Chelsea keeping them on hold. Hopefully they get one of these guys and then turn their attention elsewhere. Maybe that's the best case for Chelsea. And then we've just had this update come through. Fabrizio Romano saying West Ham are set to sign Scamacca, full agreement in place, personal terms agreed, so deal off for Armando Broja as of now. Now there's some people that are saying that they were going to sign 2 anyway, so it could be Scamacca and Broja or the other one that they were looking at, but apparently Fabrizio is saying as of now Armando Broja not on the list anymore. Now we know there's other clubs interested in him, but it seemed like this is the one that he was pushing for, so this could be very big news. You know, if there's now no club that will take Broja and could afford to pay him and give him the chances he wants, that could be very big news for him staying. So that's a very good update that we've got, assuming everything goes ahead with West Ham signing Scamacca. Then we just have an update here. Henry Lawrence, one of our youth players, joins MK Dons on loan from Chelsea. And then Chelsea starlet Tino Angerin has joined, who was at Huddersfield. He's gone back there. He was at there for the end of the last season. He was on loan and he's gone back. So I think that's 2 very good loans. I'm sure they'll do well out there. And maybe one day make it to the Chelsea first team. So that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like on it. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And you'll never miss out on a future video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.